My name is Aleksandra. I'm a junior at Liberty University and I play tennis. We took a family trip down to Egypt. The hotel that we were staying at had tennis courts and we just decided to do something fun as a family, something active. So at first it was my mom and my dad were gonna play, but as soon as we got to the courts and I saw them playing, I grabbed a racket away from my mom and she hasn't played since. So that's how I got introduced to the sport. At about age of 9, where I first started playing my first tournament, I got to the final. And then very quickly I began climbing up the rankings in my country. And I think at about age of 10, when I was #2 in the country, I realized that maybe I should pursue it as more of a professional career than just enjoy the sport that I enjoy. Well, the next step definitely was when I was offered to come to US to play one of the tennis academies in Florida. And I was 10 years old at the time, and I think I was the youngest one of the youngest in history to get such an offer at such a young age. When I was in Russia, I would train certain hours that were appropriate for me, just like two to 3, no more. But when I came to US, I was not in charge of my practicing or the process of my training, and I was pushed a bit to the limit of going from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, even 6. So, and I think at 11, 12 years old, just when the body just starts to change and starts to grow, my body was just physically exhausted and it completely collapsed. And everything just started hurting, and everything from the knees, the back, the elbows, everything just completely got deteriorated. I would go from a doctor to a doctor to a doctor, and they always say the same thing, oh, it's just time. We couldn't do anything because, well, you're growing, it's not an injury that you just get in rehab from. At first, I tried to push through the pain, but then I realized that it was really not worth it because I wasn't practicing as well as I should have. I wasn't improving, and at the same time, I was hurting myself. And I just decided to completely stop and let my body just go back and just rehab itself. I definitely reacted negatively because at 15, I decided to quit tennis completely because it was hurtful for me to watch my other friends who were playing. It was painful for me to watch any professional tournaments, any Grand Slams. I would not watch tennis. I threw out all of my trophies, everything. I actually think that was the best thing that could have happened. So when I decided to kind of just take tennis easily, more as a fun sport once again, I found that joy in tennis once again when I was a little kid back in that vacation. So it really gave a second birth to my tennis experience. So I was hoping that I could get an academic scholarship to go to university. So I was completely focused in school. I would spend my entire time in school taking courses after classes and just preparing for all the SATs and stuff. At the same time, I would still go back to some academies to play some tennis just for fun, just to stay in shape. One of my friends who is now an alumni who graduated from Liberty, she played on the tennis team. Whenever she would come back for the breaks, summers and winter breaks and such, we would always play together. At some point in time, she told the coaches about me here at Liberty, and the coaches were really interested. And I did not really think much of it because I was not really focusing the tennis route for college or universities at all. But it just so happened that one day I was in school coming out of my calculus class, and my coach texted me and he said, "I entered you to play a tournament this weekend. The Liberty coaches are coming. They want to see you play, so you're playing." And I was like, well, there goes my weekend. But ironically, I played unbelievably that tournament and I won that tournament, and that was my first tournament I played in 2-3 years also. So they got to see me play and they basically offered me a scholarship right there, and I felt like that was the right thing to do, and that's what God wants me to do. So I took that opportunity right away, and I knew that I wanted to come here. I gained some best friends who will remain my best friends for the rest of my life, and that's what's so great about sports and universities, and especially sports, because we find those relationships and we cherish those relationships forever. And there's no greater feeling than knowing that you're playing for it bigger than yourself. Only now I learned that everything happens for a reason, and I wouldn't want to trade anything for an experience here, and I regret nothing, and I'm very thankful for all the experience that I